Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome and join all the congratulations we heard today about 100th session of the Venice Commission and its extraordinary job during more than 20 years. And special thanks to its president, Mr. Bukikio. Just over the lunch, I learned that he somehow managed to attend 106 sessions of the Commission, although the Commission officially records 100 sessions only. And we are very grateful that many of these sessions devoted time to Georgia and our developments. It's very interesting coincidence that Georgia, modern state, and the Venice Commission are of the same age. The country was born in the very same year. And for us, the Venice Commission is an integral part of our constitutional development because we were always feeling support and advice from this outstanding pool of experts. At the same time, Georgia was contributing to the growth and strengthening the capacity of the Commission by providing more and more puzzling political and legal questions to you for the comments. And we started with the question, how to constitutionalize unconstitutionally seized power at the very beginning of our independence. Then we continued to draft our first new constitution in 1995, and since then we are keeping this cooperation. 1 year ago, Georgia established another constitutional commission, which I am chairing, and I am invited here in the capacity of head of the Constitutional Commission. Of course, the first question should be asked why another commission was created to prepare amendments to the current text of the Constitution. Partly, probably because of the habit which is established in our country and some other countries. When new government comes to power, first thing what it does, creates the new Constitutional Commission in order to try to change some things there. But believe me, that was not the main reason why we created the Constitutional Commission. Main reason was the fact that during last 10 years, the Constitution was amended more than 20 times, which left its very well understandable problems in the Constitution. The latest amendments which happened in 2010 coincided with the process when the second term of the then President Saakashvili was expiring, and the majority, which then enjoyed constitutional majority in the parliament, made amendments and transferred the power from the president to the prime minister. Of course, it was officially declared that that was moved towards parliamentary system of governance. However, the real intention was to prepare the foundations for a change of the office for one man. And therefore, the quality of the amendments were badly damaged because of such circumstances. And when unexpected things happened in Georgia in October 2012, when different political coalition won, including my Republican Party, and we realized that the plan of the previous government was not realizing, a lot of constitutional problems emerged. We were able to change certain things until the main body of those amendments entered into force in November 2013. But many other problems remained for future resolution. So that was the reason why we created Commission. Commission is based on inclusive approach. We have representatives of all political forces represented in the parliament, also political parties who are getting public financing and who are considered as qualified political parties, and they have representation in the Commission. Then we have up to 20 experts and NGO representatives also in the Commission, and that's what how we started the work. Originally, we thought that we could deal with the issues until September 1st, but because of number of reasons, which I'll come back later, In June, the Parliament of Georgia received another decision and postponed the deadline for March 1st of the next year, which enables us to work better and to consider all the proposals from all the parties. The Commission started its work with address to all the interested stakeholders to submit their opinion, their ideas, their vision about the issues they are concerned. We have 5 working groups inside the Commission which analyzes these proposals and then tries to consider them together with international experts. We are glad to note that not only Venice Commission and the Council of Europe, but a number of other donors are helping us and are ready to help. GIZ, NDI, many others who are trying to provide expertise in this field. The most important thing which I want to report to you is the environment where and when the Constitutional Commission works, because we all know the Constitution is not about technicalities and nice provisions, it's about the constitutional process. And there are a number of things which are very important preconditions which gives us hope that this time we will be able to use all the recommendations and we utilize them far better than in previous times. First of all, we observe that new readers of the Constitution emerged in Georgia. And those new readers of the Constitution are President, Prime Minister, Chairman of the Parliament, members of the Parliament, journalists, and so on. Because this is the first time when some constitutional debates emerged, when no one man is vested with the superpower and the rest of the authorities are just following the political will of such a strong person, which means the Constitution matters now, and the constitutional provisions matters now. This was one of the intentions of the change we tried to bring about in the country since the last parliamentary elections. Now you hear public debates whether this authority belongs to the President or to the Prime Minister. This is something unthinkable, which we never observed during previous years, and this is very good sign that the Constitution could serve its function. Second positive thing is that the Constitutional Court became much more active and much more influential. And there are a number of rulings of the Constitutional Court which resulted huge headache for us parliamentarians and myself as Chairman of the Parliament. Certain reforms which we started through adopting some laws were postponed because the Constitutional Court ruled that, well, not everything was constitutional in our decision making. No matter I disagreed or agreed to those rulings, but you guess I probably not fully agreed, we had to find solutions to the policy problems through other means which are more constitutional. And the society is coming to the conclusion that it's not the political leaders who matter most in the constitutional affairs, rather it is the Constitutional Court who can rule, and everybody needs to obey those rules. And this is very positive sign, and this is adding additional aspects to the work on the future provisions of the amendments. The third very important development is that Georgia, first time in our history, has truly constitutional coalition majority, which is composed by 6 different parties. And although we are majority in the parliament, we do not enjoy constitutional majority, which means that it is not so easy to draft something according to the political will of somebody and then take it through technical process of voting and adoption and so on and so on. No, it is extremely difficult to come to the agreement even within the ruling coalition on anything which is about the constitution. First time in the Georgian history, we have very consolidated and strong opposition in face of former ruling party United National Movement in the parliament, who have quite qualified and experienced people there, and who are very, very active participants in this process, and I believe this will promote high quality of the reforms. Same could be said about the NGO community and civil society actors who became increasingly active and enthusiastic because they saw that at this time their word could matter because, well, they may find allies within the political forces and political groups because, again, there is no this monolithic power structure which could draft amendments in the back room and then bring it to the society for just formalities. These are positive things of the process which I can report to you. Although there are difficulties and new challenges, the amendments I mentioned, which were introduced by the previous government with the hope that they invented the model of the governance which was suitable for their political interests and they wanted to lock this model as hard as possible, they introduced the process of the amending the constitution, which is probably the hardest among the member states. Now we need 3/4 majority, 2 times voting during spring and fall sessions, 2 times in one session and second time on the second session. While we argued against this too complicated process, but unfortunately failed to convince local decision makers when the decision was made, and now we need to live with that. This requires extraordinarily difficult work to get consensus among the decision makers. At the moment, the majority has about 55% of votes inside the parliament. The minority has 30%, and those who are in middle are the remaining votes. But for changing anything, we need 75% of majority, being voted twice with at least 3-4 months period. So this is the challenge which we are facing and which I wanted to bring up to your consideration when this kind of issues come up regarding to other countries. We urge to be more careful and responsive to the needs of newly emerged states and democracies who equally need the constitutional stability and constitutional flexibility because not everything is settled as they probably should be settled. And Georgian constitution is one of the cases of such unsettled constitution. We have a number of areas in the constitution which are left completely open. For example, territorial administrative arrangement and the vertical balance of power. Because of the fact that Georgian central government jurisdiction is not working in the conflict regions or separatist regions, Abkhazia, South Ossetia, the constitution back in 1995 left these issues open, hoping that the solution will come soon. And we have in the constitution that even bicameral parliament will be introduced after the resolution of these conflicts. Unfortunately, those frozen conflicts became very difficult to solve in considered future. So we need to do something with the rest of the country because we should not keep the country prisoner of unsolved conflict in Abkhazia. And it should not be prevention of making viable local democracy and regional authorities in the rest of the country. But the constitutional provisions at the moment are quite a big barrier for moving forward. At the same time, amending the constitution is so difficult. Nothing to say about ambiguity of the provisions, how to distribute power between the president who is directly elected but is not head of the executive branch, however has considerable power in a number of areas, including military and National Security Council and so on and so on. And we were not able to address certain issues about National Security Council for a year now because of some conflicting provisions in the Constitution about the National Security Council and the power of the President, which is vested there, and about the other provisions which are there. So these are issues which are at the moment on the table for us. We have a very difficult process ahead because we need to generate the consensus which has potential to get that 75% vote in the parliament. Otherwise, our work would remain as another nice piece of academic work, which is not our task. So that was one of the reasons why we prolonged the term of the functional work of the Commission. But we will continue this work, and I believe by the end of this year we will be able to come up with the draft amendments, which will, of course, will come to your consideration. And meantime, we have agreements with the President of the Commission and Secretary that if there will be ad hoc opinions necessary, that you will be ready to provide them. This time I will not go in details of the issues which we are discussing now. One of the things tomorrow will be discussed here, which is judiciary, and then the draft laws on Supreme Court and court system are probably will require some constitutional changes and amendments. For example, we have life tenure for appointment of judges, but with 3-year probation or whatever period, which remains from the previous amendments, and of course it creates quite conflict of values, I would say, because life tenure and 3-year probation, these are just steps to very contradicting in different directions. They coexist in our constitution, and in practical life it introduced huge problems. We adopted special law, what these not law, but the amendments to the law on the court system, what these 3 years mean, and what should be the criteria of the decision making after these 3 years are passed, and why these 3 years there, and if it is there, then who will consider that, who will evaluate that, what are the criteria, is this how to depoliticize process at the end of the day. So the other important things are, for example, the legal status of the body of the Constitution, which is not integral part of the Constitution. We have a concordate agreement with the Georgian Orthodox Church, which is considered as part of the Constitution. We have a constitutional law on Hungarian Autonomous Republic, which is considered as part of the Constitution. However, when you go to details, what is the status of these provisions and how they relate to other constitutional provisions is problematic, and then we are looking to these issues as well. So I'll stop here and not overload you with the details. It's better to have the draft amendments, which will be then later discussed by the Commission. At the end, I want to thank you once again, everybody who have contributed to constitutional development of the country with your opinions, with your efforts, and I believe this will be the case in the future as well. Thank you very much.